Rama 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 Hare Hare. Alright, Haribo. So, we are going to continue our Vilapa-kusumanjali discussion. So, last time we spoke a little bit about what the qualification is for someone to discuss or to speak about these high topics. And we heard from different verses, like the verse Nivrittatar Sherupagiya Manad. And that same day we spoke about this, Prabhuji also spoke about this topic. Remember? He said these same verses. Nivrittatar Sherupagiya Manad. Someone should be free of material desires and thirsts. And then we heard this verse, Vikriditam Rajavadubiridam Chavishnu Shadan Vito Anusuyata Varnayadya, that the process to be rid of this disease of material lust and attachments for this world, material desire, is to hear about Krishna's pastimes with the gopis, and also to remember and repeat them. But we need to hear from someone who is on an elevated level, who is on a pure level, who is nivrittatar, free of material desires. And then we need to hear with faith. We need to hear with great faith. Shadanvito anusuyad atavarnayadya. Then first bhakti will develop, bhakti param bhagavati. Pure bhakti will come, and then automatically this disease of the heart will be cured. But first bhakti must develop. We cannot think. It's like putting the cart before the horse. They have a saying in English. If you put the cart before the horse, then you're not going to go anywhere now. First, you put the horse, then you put the cart. So first you have to develop bhakti, and then you can get rid of the disease of the heart. So then the question is, who has the qualification to hear? We didn't discuss this one so much. Who has the qualification to hear these topics? So really, if we think about it, there's a few things. One thing is, it's said in Sastra, Tabat karmani kurvita nanir vidyete yavata matkatra shravano dovai shraddha yavan najayate. That until someone awakens faith and desire to hear Harikatha, then they are not qualified to give up karma, material work, fruit of action. Tavat karmani kurvita, people will continue to be engaged in material work in this world until they have developed taste for hearing Harikatha. So that's one qualification, is that we should have some taste for hearing Harikatha. This is the first basic qualification. And we see people in this world who aren't interested in hearing Harikatha, they remain absorbed in materialistic fruitive work. They think, what is the point of hearing Harikatha? It's just a waste of time. There is no soul, there is no God. We should just work as much as we can in this world to get ourselves a nice situation to enjoy. Or they may have some kind of faith in God and the soul, but still they don't have taste in hearing Harikatha, they're not interested in Harikatha. Then this is said, then their qualification is to remain absorbed in fruitive work, karma. So if we have taste for hearing Harikatha, we are very fortunate, and we have developed initial qualification to hear. But then it said, how do we develop qualification to hear these topics like Vilapa-kusumanjali? What is the qualification for that? It said, for that qualification we need to develop lobha. Lobha means spiritual greed. This spiritual greed is very important. There's a very important verse in relation to this by Rupa Goswami. Krishna bhakti rasa bhavitamati kriyatam jadi kutopi labhyate tatra lolyam api mulyam ekalam janma koti sukritirna labhyate. That said, tatra lolyam api mulyam ekalam. Lolyam, or spiritual greed, is the one and only mulya, or currency, value, by which you get the qualification to enter into these topics or into this reality. You have to develop this spiritual greed. That's the qualification. Tatra lolyam api mulyam ekalam. The one and only thing that makes you qualified to enter into this and to hear this is greed. So we need to kind of nourish and develop this greed. And where can we develop that greed? We need to come into the association of those who have this greed not only, but who are present in that rasa, who are present in that reality. It said, Krishna bhakti rasa bhavitamati. Those whose minds and hearts are constantly absorbed in Krishna bhakti ras. in Braja Bhakti Ras, then they can give us this lolium by their association that will develop by them, by their mercy. Said we can get greed from those who are greedy. So that's why we heard this verse before. Bhaktistu Bhagavad Bhakta Sangena Parijayate Satsanga Prapite Pumbi Sukriti Purvasanchitai. If we don't have that greed yet, we develop Sukriti, pious merits, by serving sadhus, coming to the Dham, by following Ekadashi, by going on Parikrama, by worshipping Tulasi. It develops Bhakti Unmukhi Sukriti, Sukriti in the line of Bhakti. And then by developing that Sukriti, gradually we can come to the stage of, this will lead us to Satsanga. And when we get in the Satsanga of people who are Krishna Bhakti Ras Bhavitamati, those sadhus who are always absorbed in Krishna Bhakti Ras, then that will awaken our greed. When we hear about these topics from them, when we hear about these elevated topics from them, then it will awaken greed in our hearts to aspire for that position. And also when we hear, because we've heard this Vilapa-kusumanjali from Prabhuji 2 times now we're repeating what he spoke about. So this is, especially books like this, help us awaken our greed. And then this is our qualification. So we're trying to awaken this greed. Gurudev always said when he came to the West that first you have to understand your goal. Then you can know or find out the process how to get to it. If you don't know the goal, then all your efforts will go in vain. It's like if I have a car but I don't know where I'm trying to go, then I can just drive around aimlessly, but I won't reach any destination, or I won't reach any tangible goal. I may just wander around here and there. So the sadhan, or the practice, is like a vehicle for attaining an aim. If we go in a car, it's a vehicle to get us to where we want to go. Like I want to go shopping, I want to go to the train station, I want to go to the airport. But if we don't know where we want to go, then there's no need. The sadhan becomes without its purpose. The sadhan is a practice that's a means to attain an end. And so what is that end? What is the goal? What is the sadhya? First we need to determine what is our sadhya. And if we are following the line of Mahaprabhu and following the mood of Srila Gurudev, then that sadhya is this Braja Bhakti Ras, specifically in the mood of the gopis, and in the amidst the moods of the gopis, specifically that of the manjaris. Anarpita charim chirat karunaya vatirna kalau samarpaitum unata ujvala rasam svabhakti shriya. Mahaprabhu came to give this Unata Ujvala Ras. And Gurudev, in his commentary, we'll discuss this more later, he says that this Unata Ujvala Ras is Manjari Bhav. That's what he came to give. It's Radhika's moods, Unata Ujvala Ras, but for the Jivas, it is that position of becoming Radhika's Manjari. That is the topmost thing that Mahaprabhu came to give. And that was really the essence of what he came to give. And so if we're trying to come into the line of Srila Gurudev and follow Gurudev's desire, then we'll start to develop greed for this position. We may think not everyone is qualified for that position, not everyone may be interested in that position. That's fine. Some people may be in a different mood. But still, we honor this Manjari Bhav. We always honor and respect it, knowing that this is the real reason that Mahaprabhu came. He came to give this entrance into this Manjari Bhav Upasana. He came to give entrance into this, and Srila Gurudev also always focused on this. So this is the goal that Gurudev gave us. And then we need to determine what is the sadhana to reach it. So lots of people who are in Krishna consciousness, they haven't determined their goal. And so they chant a lot, and they perform what's called Vaidhi Bhakti. They follow devotional service according to rules and regulations of spiritual life, waking up for Mangalarti, chanting Harinam, taking bath, doing parikrama, doing some Guru Seva. And that's beneficial for them in the sense that it will help them develop more Sukriti. Depending on their level, if it's pure, it may be Bhakti. Usually, unless you're fully surrendered, it's not actually Bhakti. You're in a preliminary, like a kindergarten stage or preschool. Like preschool, before you really enter school, you go and you play, you do some pictures or you play some games. You're not really learning in school, but it's preschool. It's still getting some basic foundation. So if you're in like just Vaidhi Bhakti without ascertaining the goal, then this is like preschool. You're not really following bhakti. You may develop sukriti, but first you should decide what's the goal you want to achieve. Like when you're a kid, people ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? Everyone probably remembers when they were a kid, people would ask, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up? And they ask you many times, you think, oh, I don't know, but maybe you'll have one desire at one point, another desire at another point. Oh, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a pilot, I don't know. I want to be an actress, an actor, I want to be this or that. So you think of a goal, and then you can work to achieve that goal. But if you don't have any aim in mind, then you'll grow up and you may be a clerk, you may be, selling groceries, you may be doing something that you don't feel reaches your highest potential. But when you decide on a goal and you become very greedy for achieving that goal, then you'll work very hard to get to that stage. And then you can achieve it. But if you don't work very hard to get something, then you'll never achieve anything very grand. So that's what we're trying to do, is first determine our goal, and then we can figure out the best process to get there. Like, we want to go from A to B, what's the most direct route? And we'll try to take that route. So qualification to hear includes this idea of, okay, are we qualified to hear Vilapa-kusumanjali? Well, the question is, what is our goal? If you are saying that your goal is Manjari Bhav, then of course you're qualified, because this is the roadmap. When you want to go somewhere, you don't know the way to get there, then you have to have a map. You need a map. So Vilapa-kusumanjali is the roadmap to attaining Manjari Bhav, because all the different services of the Manjaris are described there. And also, it's not just the roadmap, but it's like a manual. So you can read it and see, oh, am I interested in that? Does it sound nice? Then you can decide, oh, this is for me, this is not for me. You want it? She wants. Good. Gopali. So, that's why we're studying this Vilapa-kusumanjali. And then the question is, are we qualified to study this? But if that's our goal, and if we're greedy for that, then we're qualified. There's no question. Now, Gurudev does say in his commentary that greed is actually a very high thing. But there's also a regular level of greed, like we're trying to develop greed and we have some inkling of a desire, and we have respect, Shraddha. Shraddha is also very important. And then we can progress from there. Gurudev said we should be careful not to become sahajya. Sahajya means we think everything is very cheap and easy to attain, and we try to imitate like Krishna's pastimes there with the gopis in this world, and we think, oh, I'm in Braj and this is all bona fide. But Gurudev said no, we should be very serious, and an important thing Gurudev said is we should not try to achieve this Saki Bhav with Krishna, like, oh, Krishna will be my lover, he will always be enjoying me, kissing me, embracing me. Because if we're on this lower level, then we tend to think of it with a mundane idea, and then it's like some mundane concoction, and our heart is still not pure, filled with anarthas. Then we end up achieving inauspiciousness instead of a good result. Instead of kalyan, auspiciousness, we get akalyan, inauspiciousness. So Gurudev said you should develop the mood to be like the maidservant of Srimati Radhika, only desiring to please Radha and Krishna. He said if you have this mood of pleasing and serving, then this can be considered that you are entering bhakti. But if you're thinking, oh, it'll be very nice and I will enjoy so much, then there's still some contamination. There's an important thing to remember, because Gurudev was asked this question that, oh, what about the people who think, oh, I will just directly be Krishna's Saki, and Krishna will always enjoy with me, embrace me, kiss me like this. And Gurudev said, no, we should not think like that. Our mood is that we want to be the Palyadasi of Srimati Radhika. We do everything to please Srimati Radhika, and then we should not worry so much about, will Krishna like me or not, will Radha like me or not. We hear in the Vilapa-kusumanjali that everything is included actually. But the main thing is, what is our motivation in our heart? When we develop that pure mood that I will only try to please Krishna, then we're entering into bhakti. It said, Admendriya pritivancha tari bole kam. Kam, material lust, is the endeavor always to satisfy oneself. And love is the desire or endeavor to always satisfy and please Krishna. So we're trying to enter this process of bhakti, which means that we want to try to serve and please Krishna, and that's love. Okay? So to get to that stage, we have to follow this process. But that's an important thing also about qualification, that we should be careful to always make sure our compass is, that we are going in the right direction. Our compass is working and we're following it. We're going in the right direction. Because when we're following bhakti, we may think we're following bhakti nicely, but actually we're watering all these different weeds of desires that are choking the main creeper of bhakti, the main creeper of desire to serve and please Sri Krishna. So that's an important thing. And then one more thing we'll just say about greed before we stop now, is that Purdy likes to describe this, that many people say, oh, you're not qualified to read this, you're not qualified to study or think about this. Purdy said this is not so. The main thing is we have to enter the process somewhere. And the process is taking shelter of the Goswamis, like Raghunath Das Goswami, Rup Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, taking shelter of them and studying their books. These books are like treasures, and they are our inheritance. We are the children of our Guru, and Gurudev has given us these treasures as our spiritual inheritance. If we don't study these, then it's not honoring this thing that Gurudev gave us. It's like neglecting it. So we should study it. Some people said, oh, you're not qualified. If you're not qualified, this will be like a poison. It will destroy your spiritual life. Gurudev said, no problem. If this is a poison, it's not the poison to destroy our spiritual life. It's the poison that will destroy our material life. Taking this poison, we will destroy our samsara, our material life. Like people say, don't go to Keshi Ghat and see Krishna. If you want to see Krishna standing in his threefold bending form, you'll lose your heart, you'll lose your mind. So they say, don't go to see Krishna. But we say, yes, go and see Krishna. But people say, no, if you're attached to enjoying with your family, laughing and joking and playing with your friends, then don't go to see Krishna. But we say, go to see Krishna, and we'll happily give up our samsara. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Gare na jaibo vane pravesilo olila rasiratare tyaji kulalaj baja brajaraj vinoda minati kori. That in his song Yamuna Puline, where he describes the scene of Krishna on the bank of the Jamuna in Yoga Pit with Srimati Radhika, surrounded by the Sakis who are singing and playing. And then he says, I will give up everything to enter these pastimes. Tyaji kulalaj, I will give up all family attachments. I will not return home. I will just enter the forest and serve Sri Krishna. That's his mood. Like when Krishna plays on his flute and calls the gopis, they leave everything and run to Krishna. So if we have developed this greed, then we have to start studying this. And if people say, no, you're not qualified, then we're not concerned. If they say this is a poison, we say this is the poison that will destroy material life, and we'll very happily take it. They said if we take this poison, then life after life will be freed of the disease of material life, the samsara, vasana. Gurudev said this is what we should, it's very important. Gurudev said, he gives the example of like a dog. If someone is very greedy to eat a rasgulla, and they don't have any money, then he said, anyhow they'll go to a rasgulla shop, and they'll wait outside the shop, and people eat the rasgullas, and come out, they buy the rasgullas in these little bowls, and they eat them, and then they throw the bowls, and the bowls will have some rasgulla juice. And if someone's very greedy, they'll also take the rasgulla juice. And then they'll wait there all day, and someone will certainly feel mercy upon them and give them a rasgulla. Or the shopkeeper will give them a rasgulla. Or they'll come to the shop and say, let me work for you, just give me a rasgulla. I'll clean your floor, I'll wash the pots, I'll sweep outside, I'll do anything you ask me, just give me a rasgulla. So we want to develop this greed for bhakti ras in this mood of Braja Bhakti as the Manjaris. We try to develop that greed and think, okay, now I'll do whatever it takes. I'll develop this do or die mentality, but we have to beg to the right people. In the example of the rasgulla shop, who is the rasgulla shopkeeper? Who is the owner of the rasgulla shop? These are the Manjaris and Gopis. They have Radha Padamboja Sudambu Rasi. That rasagula of Radha Ras is the property of the Manjaris and Gopis. So we have to beg to them. And that's why the process to enter this and to achieve that position is that every day we meditate upon them, we remember their names, we pray to them, we go to their different pastime places, where we offer pranam and serve there. Prabhupada gives the example also that if a dog every day stays outside one house, and like dogs have this special way of like looking with their eyes with so much like begging, yearning. It's called puppy dog eyes. They have these very like kind eyes, and they know how to pray and beg very nicely. And if people see them every day the same way with this begging mood, then certainly one day or another they'll give them something to eat. So Prabhupada says we have to go every day to the doors of the Brijabasis, the homes of the Brijabasis. And that's why we go on Dham Parikrama, physically but also mentally. We go on Parikrama of the Dham, we go to every door, or means every home of the Brijabasis. By the real Brijabasis, we remember their names. Lalita, she is in Uchagaon. We go to Vishaka, we go to Kamai, Karela, we go to all these different places in Braj, Charan Bahari, Charan Shila, Choti Barna, Bhari Barna. We should learn all these places and where all the different gopis live, where all the Brijabasis. We go to Nanda Bhavan, we go to Vrishabhanupur, Prashana, and we pray to them all, please just give me a chance to serve Srimati Radhika. Please give me a chance to enter Braj. And if we pray like that every day, certainly, without a doubt, we will one day receive their mercy. And that is our sadhana. Our sadhana, our practice is only to be able to receive their mercy. And therefore we go to them and we pray. If we want to enter this Palyadasi Bhav and this Manjari Bhav in Braj, then prayer is the process, that's the sadhana. We have to enter the crying school, where we beg and pray. Vilapa-kusumanjali means to cry out. Vilap is crying actually, or yearning or praying, but with deep longing and sadness that I have not achieved it yet. And if I cannot achieve that, my life is useless. I will give up my life unless I can achieve this position, this Manjari Bhav. So we need to develop this kind of mood. Otherwise, we won't be able to get the goal. So that's what... And we have to do baby steps, one by one. If we don't have this greed, then we should try to develop the greed to have the greed and pray, oh, I don't have this greed, please one day may I get this greed. And you can cry like that from whatever level you're at. If you're not on that level we have this pure greed yet, then find whichever level you're at in your heart and try to go deep within yourself and think, what do I want, what do I really want? And I don't want that, okay, Gurudev, please, I know that this is right for me, I know that this is really proper for me, please give me your mercy that one day I can have this greed. And you start praying to Gurudev like that, because there's no need to run far away to other people. Gurudev himself is Radhika's Manjari. So we can pray to Gurudev. We need acquaintance first with someone who has reached out to us. Because we can go first to Lalita, Vishaka, but we don't have relation with them yet. But their own associate came to this world and came into our midst and told us about this. So if we don't take shelter of him, our Guru, then what chance do we have of getting the mercy of Rupa Manjari, Rati Manjari, Lalita Vishaka? So first we remember and pray to Gurudev and catch hold of the lotus feet of Gurudev. It said, Radha Saki Shambhukam Saki Shanga Niveshanam Tamaham Satam Bande Shri Guruntanidharanam. That Guru is in the midst of the Sakis of Srimati Radhika. And by taking shelter of Guru, we can also achieve that position. So we always remember Srila Gurudev and pray to Srila Gurudev. And we pray, please let us develop that greed. Let us be worthy of being called your disciples by following this path to achieve that which you have come to give us. Okay? Vanchakalpatribhasya kripa sindhubhya prititanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.